Pittsburgh Landing in Shiloh National Park. We're going to do an audio tour. We wanted to get a pretty thumbnail, so we came down here first. This is the first stop.
No, we're actually going to eat. We're going to get in the parking lot and eat lunch.
Yes.
Because we were hungry. We concluded our personal tour, getting refamiliarized with various things. And now, now we're going to eat lunch and give people time to come in. You know, the tweet went out. Sorry we're a little bit late, but, you know, doing all those things to do because we got a 3-hour ride after this, 4-hour ride. But hey, we wanted to share a live driving tube with you. There might be one or two things that I get out to show, but...
Sorry, I tagged Ben Stiller by mistake.
Well, hell, send it to Ben Stiller. Maybe we'll get popular. Why not? You know? The hard thing is depending... Hey, Stunning and Brave is first.
Hey,
yes.
first!
Absolutely. Shall we have a beautiful view of the monuments or the visitors?
Well, I would like to have a beautiful view where there's shade.
Okay. Yeah, because we've got all the cool air pointed on the camera to kind of keep it. I think I saw shade by the monument, but you guys wouldn't see that. So to our right, behind the bookstore, is the National Cemetery. We don't plan on going in there today, but just need to know that is what is there.
And to the front is a bathroom that is actually not a vault toilet.
Yes.
Yay! Okay, wait, I'm trying to get.
So when the tweet goes out, please retweet it, share, like with everybody else.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. Hope you're feeling better today, Stunning. Hope you are. So we are in actually Corinth, which we went to yesterday, is in Mississippi. We are in Tennessee barely today. So hey, now we're gonna give you a beautiful view of a picnic bench, a ladies'
and the bathrooms.
And the bathrooms.
Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry. There's something about Dadmans and bathrooms, I guess. Anyway, hey, so good to see you today, Stunning. Good to see whoever else is coming in. Like I said, we're going to kind of multitask right here. We're going to eat lunch here while we're waiting. So hey, you know, we're having lunch now. We wanted to go live so people know that we are actually here. There are 23,000, almost 24,000 casualties. That is one battle. And just remember, there are 3 more years of conflict to go. But before we get into all the details, how are y'all doing today?
Over there, I've got it tweeted out. I now can make my lunch because I had to make Dadman's lunch first. Now I get to make my lunch. So 0 people are watching. Stunning, could you go away? Don't forget to hit the like button. Oh, you know what? I forgot we can share it here, but it won't tag, but it'll share the live picture. Today, Dadman despises tuna fish, so he gets to smell tuna fish. Sorry.
We got the windows open.
Oh,
We've seen a number of deer around the park too today. So
I haven't been able to get pictures.
I got pictures of the backside of one, but basically about 30 minutes ago, we saw a family of deer run across the road in a shaded area. So we can still see them.
It would be nice. So whenever you get done, we can start.
Exactly. Just letting them. We got 4 people watching already. Thank you.
Awesome.
Make sure you hit
Thank
the like
you,
button.
guys.
Thanks for being here. we're only taking a moment to give people time to come in before we start this driving tour.
And we're hungry.
And we're hungry, and we're just kind of rambling and talking right now. If any of you out in the chat have ever been to Shiloh National Battlefield, let us know. Have you ever toured a national park facility? You know, those type of things. We'll just have some general chat for a minute or two while we try to eat. And,
Oh, Buddy says hello.
hey, buddy. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome.
Lurk as long as you hit the like button. No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
But
You
you
can
want
look.
to say hi. Say hi. Do you understand?
Gotta wrap that up so that they don't
What's
get
that?
mustard on me.
Oh,
Anything.
you got mustard or tuna fish?
I don't have relish, so I'm using mayonnaise and mustard
For what?
to make it a tuna salad. I mean, you don't have to eat it. I'm not making you.
Look. One thing about this park, and I'll try to repeat it several times, is it's not in sequential order of events. It sort of starts in the middle and works back. It gets forward and backward both, so it's very interesting to see.
But we are going to do a video where we do it in order. This is they just do it where it's location. You know, you go from one spot to the other because it would be very difficult to have it'd take hours and hours.
Some spots like Bell's Farm was back and forth, so on April 6th there was one position, and then April 7th the next day it flipped.
I think this true. Oh no, we're just standing still. See?
Hey, there's a fork.
That was a fork. Fork you. I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, we're just not moving right now. Up there goes the car.
See, a number of tweets are retweeted out there. Thank you.
But this is a beautiful park. I mean, a beautiful preserved battlefield. I hate to call a battlefield beautiful, but they have really worked on keeping it from being encroached upon.
You were with us yesterday at Corinth, the Interpretive Center. That was a separate battle about October. So it was about at the Confederates withdrew in May. Charlotte was in April, so about 6 months later in October, the Confederates assaulted that. But if you were with us yesterday, you can see how much the town is built up and grown.
Yeah, we were looking at siege lines, and there were houses there.
Yeah, we were trying to do the full thing. It was not happening. The materials were very average, so. But
And we got the AC blowing on the phone so that hopefully it won't. And they don't have a garbage can outside today.
no, well, not here. When we start to drive, there will be.
That's okay. I'll just put this in here. I guess one of these. Oh, here you have some crunchy donuts.
Got crunchy donuts and
You have one Krispy Kreme. It's not hot and fresh, but so.
So we're about ready to get started in a couple minutes. Do a couple more minutes.
That's it.
Sorry for the food asker, but
Yeah, having made tea in advance has really made this nicer. And we got these neat little cup cozy things, like drink cozies, like you put around a canned drink. Well, these glass bottles I got that I made iced tea in, they fit perfectly, don't they?
Yeah, for a great military park cozies. But you said they did several trips to different sites between 2015 and 17, even participated in a reenactment. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's cool. We go a lot to the Alusty battlefield in Alusty, Florida, reenactments. We don't get to a lot of the other reenactments because just of the timing of them. But we have gone to that one.
We did come here on an anniversary of the battle, where they actually in one of the fields had an infantry demonstration. I mean, a cavalry demonstration.
Really?
Yeah, they brought the horses out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I don't remember if it was a big battle or they just demonstrated how you would charge actually.
Oh, I remember now. I think they kind of showed you what they would do.
Absolutely. Well, we're 10 minutes in. Okay, let's retweet it. Whoever comes. But hey, thank you for the 3 people watching. Buddy, Stunning.
You're welcome. I'm the third one.
I know you're all y'all here. So let's sit back, relax. We'll see how far this goes. We're going to take a look around Shiloh National Military Park. The Battle of Shiloh, named after the church we'll see along the route with the landmark. It's also referred to as Pittsburgh Landing, the geographical landmark. So North and South had different ways of naming battles.
So how did the South name them?
It's by cities or landmarks. So
And
Pittsburgh
how did the North
Landing,
do it?
by rivers or geographic locations. Did you want to throw out that?
No, it's okay.
Alrighty, so here we go. And like I said, most of our effort today is going to be just the driving part of the tour. There may be a spot or two that I may try to borrow the camera and show a little bit outside, but like Mrs. said, we're going to try to do something more sequential, more pictures, more video that you can see. And as we mentioned, this is kind of this whole battlefield is out of order the way it's presented for tour stops. Let me see if I can show something real quick. Let me do this. A couple things real quick. I want to hopefully not get in trouble with people. But if you see these markers to the left, these are square markers. When you see a square marker, it represents an army. This is the Don Carlos Buell's Army of the Ohio, U.S., and it tells you about the officers in this situation, what happened. So when you see that Dadmans Union forces, so for what you see here on the left here is the example.
Here, wait, let me just do that. No, okay. You don't have to.
Okay, you see that it's a rectangle. 11th Iowa Infantry was at the end of the day on the first day of battle, April 6th.
So the rectangle ones are first day of battles.
The oval ones will be the second day of battle. And what is, if you notice too, with the cannons out here that have been put out here, this whole ridge was where Grant made his last stand on day 1. After being knocked back from forward positions, Grant's force was pulled back along this ridge. And also, we'll show you Pittsburgh Landing, where reinforcements came from. There were also gunboats in that area that provided additional support, but this is where they were knocked back again. If you can see that.
Here, let me you drive and I'll point it out there. Try to
okay. This is what I was talking about, the explanatory markers. Alright. Square blue is Army of Tennessee.
Whoops, sorry.
Tennessee. Red is the Army of the Mississippi, which is Confederate, and yellow is Don Carlos Buell's Army of the Ohio. And you can see the rectangles, or they call them square tablets, with ornamental corners, are the position where troops were engaged in the first day, Sunday, April 6th. The oval tablets show where they were engaged. Now, some of it do...
Sorry, I'm trying to change plugs.
do notice the ornamental.
Can you plug that in?
The ornamental corners represent where they were. There was action. There are some, like you saw back there, that did not have ornamental, which means that's where they were positioned, and you can read it on their placards too.
Okay, wait. Sorry, there we go. And did you want to show this monument?
Yeah, let's do. We can back up a little bit.
What was important about this monument? Was there a reason?
Let's see.
I think it said something, but I guess
No,
anyway,
I don't have it here.
I
but
just think that's a pretty monument.
you will see a lot of monuments.
We'll
to both
stop and
sides
show
throughout.
them.
And as I mentioned, this tour stop 1 is Grant's last line. The artillery marks the final position of marking his line on April 6th.
And which direction is that? Is that over that way?
It's on our left side.
Okay.
Okay. Which is on our left side. And from there, Grant launches his counterattack on day 2 on April 7th. Okay?
So it kind of starts at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Or kind of the middle, you know. What is neat about this park is that did we get that sign?
I don't know.
We'll have to
Well, we were going to drive out.
Hold on.
If you want to go get it,
Let me
run
go
and
get it right now, guys, because in case we drive out and forget, Mrs. can talk to you a little bit.
I'll show you some other monuments. There's some monuments there to Indiana. I just love looking at the monuments. Just the detail in the work of them. Some of the bronze work is just the faces. I took some close-ups of the faces, and they're just amazing. The workmanship of these monuments. And some of them are modern. Most of them are probably 100. Well, let's see. Some of them might be 200 years old. Hello, Parkours. Glad to see you. Dadman's out taking a picture of something that we forgot. So I'm just kind of sitting here talking about these monuments. And Coach, how old are some of these monuments? Probably.
Hi, Balzat. A lot of these are put up in
1900.
A lot of them, some
Sure,
completely
about
back in
100.
1800s. And hey, to Balzat, I was wondering if we could experiment with something.
What did you want me to
I
do?
want to show people how one of the things that this park that makes it unique, the bottom with the timeline.
If you look at, they have a lot of informational things. If you see at the bottom, there's a timeline, and which is really neat because even though these are out of order in the tour, if you take pictures of their placards, their informational things, they give you a timeline so you can actually put them in order. So that's just kind of part of what with the timeline.
Exactly. So, and it's really a really neat park in terms of where
it's really good documenting.
And as for instance here,
And
this will show you. These are things that we're going to work on for our stream coming forward. But you can see where the units were positioned and where they're going towards, where they positioned start of day. It gives you approximate times. As you can see, like here, this is the ridge line, Grant's last defense at the end of day 1. You can see that Buell's, Bull Nelson's reinforcements are coming in. There are Union gunboats on the Tennessee River. So hey, you know, this is really one of the better parks for informational signs and stuff that you could ever visit.
Okay.
All right. We're ready to go?
We're onward and up. What is it?
Well, actually, we're onward and downward in a way.
Onward and downward.
We'll come back up.
Off we go.
So again, as I mentioned, you see to the left, there's a Union.
You gotta put your seatbelt on.
You don't have me, right?
No, I don't have it.
Okay. I'll get my seatbelt on. But see, we'll see more placards. There are some on the right. Those are the rectangles are the Union positions at the end of the first day. When they have ornamental, that's where they're. Oh, you want to see the Indiana?
Yeah, this is the monument.
So, but all these cannon that are on the left illustrate where Grant's guns were, and the defensive positions were. at the end of the 6th.
That works. You see my air freshener there.
Oh yeah, what you did, that was not your air freshener either, so. You see, they said though it's back at the time of the battle that many of the farmers and locals let their cattle go wild, did not hem them in. So a lot of the forest was trampled, a lot of undergrowth was trampled or eaten. So this is one of those that does not look like it did back then.
There was a lot less undergrowth.
Right.
So
we also know that trees are always felled for battle and things like that. But specifically with this battle, what you see now is not what was happened back then. There were more open areas, but there were also very dense areas also, and we'll see some later.
You know what? I'm going to check it out here because I think you can see better.
Okay. All right. Hey, we've got 5 people watching. Hey. Yeah, it's probably being out in the middle of Tennessee, nowhere. So
national parks don't have the best. We'll do our best.
Hey, at least we got something. This ain't like Yellowstone.
I got my hand stuck out the window.
Let's see what that parking application is.
Right here.
Okay. All right, so there's more out. That's the actual entrance road there.
All right.
Now you see the cannonball in the distance with the little star up top. We'll see more of those as we go along. That is the location of a brigade headquarters.
You need to make sure that we're looking at it, make sure what we're doing here.
So, but those will be significant. We will see some other markers that are very
Those towers, the single tower of a cannonball marks headquarters location. From the wind. Okay, well, I'll have to stick it inside and you're going to have to just see reflection of the...
And we can stop to show it out if we need to. Basically, we've also seen wildlife in here already. So, that's kind of why we take the road slow a bit. But, so we're moving down from Grant's last lines to where, more towards where the Union Fork positions were and where the Confederates came up and drove the Union back up to that ridge. So, I hope y'all are having a good day. There's a little bit of driving between these stops. There'll be some interesting.
Yeah, they can hear us now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. I was hoping that we could get this, not this reflection, but
yeah,
we don't want to stick it too close to the front window because it's so very hot. And even with the thing, I don't want the camera to overload.
Exactly.
So we're just kind of driving along the doorway. You can kind of see this is all, there's been engagements in all these areas. Placards everywhere. It's very well documented.
For instance, like what I was saying earlier about this square.
Whoops.
This square is an informational sign on the Army of the Ohio. Now you notice the Army of the Ohio, Army of the Tennessee Union, they were named after rivers. For instance, in the east, you had the Army of the Potomac, later in the war, as they organized and reorganized. You've got in this case, this is the 2nd Division of the Army of the Ohio. So it gives you the brigade commanders and a summary of the actions of what they did. So that's why we say that this is one of the better battlefields that you can visit.
But
if you like the information detail.
Yes, it's got a lot of detail. But he said he has a good day so far. Went to a morning run and got caught in a downpour. That was fun.
So So, anybody want to see any specific state monuments? If you have,
We'll try to find them.
We'll try to find them. I do just past Michigan.
I want the State of Confusion Monument.
Yep, and now we see here. Let me go back. They were Confederates in position on the end of the second day. They were engaged here, advancing on the lines of the Union. So, but that's about as far as they got. As you remember, that what we saw, Grant's final line was up there and held. So, you can see how close they are within each other, and what which we saw at Vicksburg.
Well, she still doesn't feel good, but at least she's different. So we're good for that. Good.
Oh, good. I didn't know.
Oops, let me go back in so we don't have the wind blowing. Sorry, guys.
Exactly. Now, what we'll see on your right is an oval sign. That is where that is the Union position on the second day.
Right. So all the ovals are second days.
Yeah, April 7th. It's like in this case.
And since it's blue, it's Union.
Yeah. So this brigade was formed here at 8 a.m. on the 7th and advanced beyond Tillman Creek, which is up ahead. So and you'll see, like I said, you'll see more as we go along. Tour stop number 2 is, and let me see about pulling over. I'm trying to find the best angle.
There's tool there.
Oh, that's right. You'll be able to turn it. Let me move forward then. You want me to roll it down my window?
Yeah, it would be nice. Good. Now this is a monument to the Confederacy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of symbolism in this rim on it, but a lot of these monuments have a lot of symbolism and they mean a lot of stuff. The same person that did the Indiana monument that Dadman liked so much in Vicksburg also did this monument.
Oh, the Illinois? Oh, did this one?
The Illinois,
Wow.
I'm sorry. The Illinois one, yes. So that was very interesting. So we will have more information on this. This is the Confederacy Monument.
Yep. And this is where its place is near the Hornet's Nest, if you're familiar with that, where a lot of action and really one of the great stands that you could hear from
Just the description is so appropriate of it when you hear, why it was called the Hornet's Nest. Well, let's see if anybody's commented. Sorry. Zed, are you telling us that we're buffering? Because we seem to be okay. So.
Yeah, it's just going to be one.
Well, Deb, I think we are buffering. But we'll see if it'll pop back. Can you guys hear us? Have we just chatted away for nothing? There we go. Okay. I don't know where we're at. Did you guys hear us talking about the monument?
Yes.
Well, if you didn't, just stay tuned to our live. Well, I mean, when we do our other one, and you'll learn about it.
Yeah. Come back here. To our left here, you'll see.
I'll get the best I can.
Yeah.
There we go.
You'll see the same with the 4 stacks of the cannonballs, but this time in the middle we have a cannon upright. This is where W.H.L. Lord Wallace was mortally wounded.
So
Because of the cannon that's pointed up, that's why this is different than the others.
Right.
That indicates an officer that was killed or in action at the spot or mortally wounded, later died. He suffered a head wound rallying his troops and later died in a field hospital. I believe his wife actually was on the way to visit him anyway and made it there before he passed away.
So the multiple cannon stacks, they
But the cannon upright itself, that's the one that indicates that the officer
Yeah, but
is
the
killed.
number 4 indicates that he's a brigadier, right? Or
No,
something?
that's in this case he was a division commander. So,
so it's just that they were killed in battle.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I need to look a little bit more, but about the stacks of the cannonballs. But we will see where division headquarters are based on a single stack of
Yes.
cannonballs. So hey,
So Buddy says, can hear well when in the car, harder when it's out the window. On Mrs. side when Dadman is talking.
Yeah.
Okay, well we're doing our best. We're trying. We're trying.
Thank you for being here.
Thank
everybody.
you. Yes. So let me roll up my window. Maybe that will help. Maybe the wind is blowing into no. Okay, yeah. Until we need the windows rolled down.
And see, as we can see, you remember Grant's line of defense from back there now up here. This is day 2 again. And how they advanced. So now remember, Grant was on the defensive back there. Now this is the Union push forward again over same ground that they had lost the day before. All right, tour stop 3 is right here. We got monuments to the left. There's a monument to Iowa. And there's a sunken road off to the left where those 2 gentlemen are standing behind the fence. So.
And what happened? What does it say happened?
Well, let me pull off to the side and
just read the little blurb that courtesy of the National Park Services brochure that you can get. So they said, I'm going to just
basically the Union troops defended this position for 7 hours before giving ground, and they retook it on the 7th because you remember the Hornet's Nest? Yeah, well, that sunken road leads right in front of the Hornet's Nest, part of the Hornet's Nest. Over here is where W.H.L. Wallace was commanding this wing. Benjamin Prentice was in the center, and Herbert was off to the left side. We'll see more about those positions when we get around to what's known as the Hornet's Nest. Very thick territory, very, very thick positions, which caused a lot of, gave its name because of all the bullets whizzing, the trees breaking. It sounded like a bunch of hornets.
The people were the enemy was hiding in the thicket, and they were shooting at those that were exposed, and they said it sounded like hornets, and that's why it got its name.
And eventually that position was commanded by Benjamin Prentice. Well, eventually Herbert on the left, Wallace on the right here fell back, exposed them, and they got surrounded, but they held out long enough to really delay the Confederate advance significantly that, bought precious time for the Union to pull back to reconsolidate where we saw up on the ridge. Alrighty, so we're going to number 4. Okay, now remember, we got Hornet's Nest and up there. I got somebody coming, but just let them go. But hey, thank you everybody for being here. I enjoy this tour through one of the best battlefields you could ever find, especially in the West. So.
Oh, hello, Mr. Starter Poopus Cuber.
Starter Poopus! Yay! We're just going to talk about your buddy, your favorite general in a little bit. How are you today? And to the left, this is the case here, like I mentioned earlier, right here, with the stack, the cannonballs with the star. That's the headquarters of the 3rd Brigade position. So that's where it was established, okay? So these markers all mean things when you go through the park, at least here at Shiloh. I'm not sure if they're consistent with others, but... All right, we just passed where Hornet's Nest and where the Union line was on the first day.
Short asked, where's Ulysses?
He's in the bookstore in a book. So, but if you look here, we've got left and right positions here with the battery. Because the Hornet's Nest was holding out so long and holding up the Confederate advance, they brought up 53 pieces of artillery to mass on that area. So it needed.
Can you imagine a barrage of 53 cannons?
It's 11 batteries that they had. Yeah.
Wow.
And at the time of the war, it was the largest mass of artillery on the North American continent in action. So, but yeah, and that's from where Ruggles is.
I can get this to flip back.
Let's see, can we do something?
I don't know, can we?
Can we try? Maybe hand me the phone and I'll get out to the side. And I want to show the people from where Ruggles Battery is to the area we just at.
Okay.
All right.
So Dadmans will only have to chat on the camera.
He was booked again. Ah,
Yeah.
that's funny. That's
There we go.
Put that hand in front. Make sure y'all hit that like button out there. And hello again. All right, we're coming up on the scene of Ruggles Battery. Over across from us in that direction becomes what is the Hornet's Nest from the center to the right. There's also a sunken road in there that we passed. We get, sorry for the bad camera work, folks. I'm not Mrs. She's the best at this stuff, not me. And as we mentioned, how the displays are, this was around 3 to 5 o'clock on the first day of the battle, April 6th. And you can see where the Unions were across from where we are. This is where we are here now. Massed artillery against that thick terrain. So, hey, hopefully, give you some perspective with it. Fired over to that side. So anyway, just trying to give you a little bit more of the perspective of both sides and what the terrain was like. And one of the things, I'll repeat it now, just in case you're wondering, what they said is that this battlefield was a lot more open and clean and clear at the time of the battle because of cattle that were left to graze uncontrolled and knock stuff down. It took out the underbrush and things like that. And yeah, so what we see here is where nature has really taken over a lot, with the trees, with the undergrowth, except for the Hornet's Nest. The Hornet's Nest was known to be very, very,
Give me a second.
very, very thick. All right, before we move on. Oh God, you can hear it in the chat, the stream. I didn't turn it down.
Oh yeah, turn that down, sorry.
Sorry guys, yeah, sorry.
He said that is really well laid out for people to put together the scene as it happened that way.
It is very well laid out. I liked it better than P Ridge. P Ridge was, we didn't have time, did not seem to have a lot of the battle areas developed and accessed, but this one really, you get the main areas, and wait till you get around on the Tennessee River. That's one of my favorite areas. So we were at, what was it, stop 5, I think.
Only
Four.
17 more to go, 18 more to go.
Yay, all right. Hey, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, so it's like, 5 people are here, 4 likes. Thank you guys very, very much.
Make sure you smash that like button. Share it out with your friends. Tell them we're here.
We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. This is
If
fun.
that you enjoy some of this beautiful.
And for those of y'all coming in late, a little later, we're taking this driving tour as it's laid out. This is the order that was presented by the Park Service. What we plan on trying to do later is actually do another show specifically where we do it sequentially, where all these will be in the order of where they battle, because we're going to come up in the front ahead of us where the action really started. So there's another Indiana monument to our right. So it is laid out a little different, and in some places you've got markers for 2 different days of action. And just to repeat there, that's the oval there that we have there. This shows where the Union Army of Tennessee advanced to at that position on the second day of the battle. Remember, coming down from the ridge where Grant had his defensive line established on the Sunday, April 6th. So
I think if someone was a strategist.
And there's a lot more, folks. There's trails and stuff and all that. that you could come. I mean, man, if I was left to it, I could spend a day out here easily.
Easily.
Maybe a couple of days. That's why with Snow or Poop is we take that road trip. We're coming here.
So I think, was it Snorter Pippa said that they need to shine up one of those cannons so they can see how they're supposed to look.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, that's a nice one.
That's a pretty monument here.
I'm not sure what to say with that.
I have no idea who it's to, but whoops, let me make this a little wider here. Maybe. Oh, I guess I can. So, that's a cool monument. Somebody said something. We got to kind of look at this too.
Okay.
But I guess not. I guess it just popped up. Sorry, guys.
It's a little later on that.
I'm a little crazy on the camera work here, but I'm doing my best.
I already said that I suck and you're better at it than I am, so they know.
Well, it's hard trying to not get. I'm trying not to get the bug stuff. I'm trying not to get reflection. I'm trying to actually show you something that's not sky.
Yep. So now, if you know anything about the battle, the Shiloh battle, it got its name Shiloh from a church. So again, to your right there, there's a camp. Not a brigade headquarters, but that's where one of the U.S. units was camped. Started the battle.
So they have everything really well. Seems to be what information they have. It's very well documented and shared.
And we're coming up on another memorial of a fallen officer, Wraith. In this position, you see the cannonballs, cannon, and a marker up there showing that he was killed.
Actually says, when he was killed, where he actually died. That this is the spot he was mortally wounded, but then it also says when he actually died and where on it, if you get a close-up of it.
Exactly.
So I think we need to turn that way.
Yep, well, we turn right, actually.
Turn right, okay.
Right. So, alright, we will turn right. Hopefully I'm right.
I don't know.
Hamburg Prairie Road. We shall see.
I don't know how many people they'd have to hire to polish all of these cannons. That would be something. That would be a sight to behold to have them all.
Yes, it would. Well, I am going to circle back because apparently that's not the right way. We came back the way we would come from. So I'll let you go first. I don't know. We missed it the first time. I think that's too. To get the picture of that.
Yeah, we're supposed to go that way.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Oh, I know what happened. I made the right. I actually made the right, and then we go straight. What's up?
Bowsette says, I heard Mecca is really good at polishing cannons. Ha 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 ha. And Snorter Pippa said, interesting doing this tour on the anniversary of D-Day.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that, June 6th. And honestly, we've lost track of dates. We've been gone so long. The other night,
Snorter Pippa says, send Mega out there with a ton of brasso.
There you go.
And we need to go that way.
Okay, there you go.
That's what I said.
There said right.
No, I didn't. You said right.
You said left. I mean
Okay,
right.
whatever.
Anyway, all right. So now we're headed to Shiloh Church, which is where side of the things. So
I packed the gimbal away, so it can't be. I'm sorry, guys, for the wiggly.
hey, at least it's not bouncing stuff in that Colorado or Arkansas roads, you know.
I'm trying to not have the big bugs flat.
Yep. There's an active cemetery here.
There is a church that actually is a church. I mean,
the cemetery is established 1851.
Oops. Oh, gosh. Oh, there it is.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Active cemetery, active church.
Whoops. Sorry, guys. Extreme close up there.
Alright, this is tour stop number 5. This is a replica, an almost exact replica of the original church. It was reconstructed, I think, in 1999 by a bunch of volunteers. If you walk inside of it, it's got a wooden pew benches, a wooden pulpit stand.
And the reason they know what it looked like was from a painting or a drawing that a soldier, hello Jeremy 5,
hey, Jeremy.
Russia approved, from an actual drawing that a soldier made of the building.
Yep. Because it was definitely destroyed during the battle. This is one that got.
I'm trying to see the chat. I'm trying to see both here.
Okay, and the sign says that the church standing on April 6, 1862 had 2 doors, one in the west and one in the south side. All right, let us move on. Let's see, and all right.
Go that way.
Yeah, we do. I wanted to show one thing real quick though.
That was my finger, guys. Hello. Hello.
Again, the square signs. There you go, Snorta Poopas. The blue. U.S. Army of the Tennessee, Major General U.S. Grant, McClernand, W.H.L. Lawrence, mortally wounded.
We have 6 watching. Thank you.
Lewis Wallace. Hey, you'll see that. Who knows the name Lew Wallace from? See, 3rd Division Commander is Major General Lewis Wallace. Who knows what Lew Wallace is famous for?
Which color?
Blue.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I went to yellow.
Okay, and it's Stephen Hurlburt, 4th Division. 5th Division is the great William Tecumseh Sherman, who got wounded in the hand. 6th Division, Benjamin Prentice, who held out.
Snorta Poopas said he wrote Ben-Hur.
Yes, he's right. You're exactly right, sir. Ding, ding, ding. And Benjamin Prentice, who held out the hornet's nest and was captured. So then you see, that's for you, Snorta Poopas. The Army of the Ho, Don Carlos Buell, who we ran into before at Perrysville up in Kentucky. And then, of course, Army of the Mississippi from Confederates under Albert Sidney Johnston. So, again, those are great signs that give you a lot of background information between the armies or the divisions, depending on what they're set up at.
I do recommend if you could ever get over here to go. If there's only one military park from the ones we've been to, there might be better. I don't know, but from the ones we've been to, this is the one that we would recommend to try to get to in the southeast area. Yeah, the one south.
Yeah.
Southeast area.
Yep. It's really well developed. Left. Okay. Thank you. Oh, follow the sign, eh?
Yep. Follow the sign.
All right. There you
some of the growth,
All right.
which it was not as bad. But they still, the trees, I think a lot of the trees, it sounds like they had a lot of trees still, but a lot of the undergrowth wasn't there, except for the hornet's nest, which was a thicket-like area.
Now we have an open field to the right. These are coming up to unit positions here.
I like how they don't mow all the fields because they weren't mowed. I mean, they mowed just safe areas for you to walk, but
Yeah.
they keep it very.
Yeah. We're in an area called Ray Springs. It's one of the earlier parts of the engagement. Off to our right, there's a running creek right there.
Whoops.
What?
I stuck it out. It was hard for them to hear you.
Okay, so basically, Confederate advances from straight ahead from where we are, come forward towards this position, puts you in the Union back. That's essentially what happened. Ray Springs is down there. Like I said, there's a creek. So basically here, they called it the Bloody Six. Basically, the sixth
Whoops.
in this area. What's wrong?
Oh, no, nothing. I was showing our dash cam.
Okay.
I was trying to get where you could just...
On this advance from the Confederates moved from our forward position to where we are and over. They were exposed to converging fire both from federal units defending Shiloh Church, which is back behind us. Confederate units here suffered the huge losses on the first day, April 6th. The 6th Mississippi Infantry had 70% casualties on its own. So, moving from open field up to terrain, and you remember back behind us where the Shiloh Church was. So
There's a couple things here. Jeremy says hello. Snorts the go. Florida Poopus. I'm trying to read Andy's. And Lewis Wallace, not to be confused with the other General Wallace, got in trouble because he took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Oh.
Buddy Hubbard says, we didn't go to Shiloh, did do Nashville and Franklin for Tennessee.
Yes. We did some in Nashville. That was an interesting thing. We'll talk about that in a bit because Nashville had a lot of city growth in it. It was spread out through the city. Franklin, we did not get to, but as I heard it really, there's it's, at least at the time I had heard there was not a lot that had been developed park-wise, but more than on private land, but yeah, those are two of the Western theater battlefields that tended to be a little bit more, overgrown.
The W.H. Wallace.
Yeah, W.H. Wallace, Decinos himself and Grant, and not praise for him. Yes, W.H.L. Wallace was apparently a very good, well-liked commander, very good commander, and was well thought of, and like I said, in rallying its troops, he was mortally wounded. Yeah.
The one thing that it is difficult about this tour, and they could not have done it any other way, is that it is not chronological. So you really have to, it can get confusing if, like me, you don't remember, what actually happened the minute, 30 minutes before that or whatever. And so, but like I said, we took pictures of everything, and hopefully we're going to make a show that does the tour chronologically.
For instance, Rayfield there is one of the earlier sites of action in the battle. We've already passed places which were day 1, day 2, later in the day of day 1. So, and maybe, who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and see some more deer running across the road. If you like wildlife, this is a great park to come to, especially early in the morning or late.
Oh wow, early this morning in one of the battlefields.
Hello, Deborah Wade.
Hey Deborah! Hello!
We are here at Shiloh National Military Park, which I still stubbornly call Pittsburgh Landing.
Well, you know, the thing about, you're talking about the deers. This morning, there was we were driving here, we couldn't stop to get a picture, but there was like 7, 8, 9 deer just hanging out in a field.
Yeah.
One of the battlefields.
Yep, exactly. We're going to advance a little bit faster. We should be coming up, I think, on Fraley Field, which is site of one of the earliest actions. Let's see. Hey. So I hope y'all are enjoying this, you know. It's a lot less stressful than what happened yesterday. But
We got 6 people watching and 7 likes. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Share it out with your friends. Tell them what we're doing, you know. Heck, we may keep going live after we leave the park because we are headed to Alabama tonight.
Alabama.
Tomorrow we're going to see the memorial to the marker for the lady hit by meteorite.
And hopefully Andersonville at the POW memorial.
We will not live stream from that one, obviously, but we probably will have pictures and stuff for another show.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, we already talked to Miss about that earlier. I'll take pictures in front of these signs and some of the placards and things, but hey, there's another bathroom.
Here's a bathroom. And let me tell you something, these are not vault toilets here. These are actual bathrooms. It was very nice.
Normally I don't like taking pictures of memorials. I like to.
Are we?
Yeah. Huh?
Did we freeze up?
No, I don't. Maybe we did. I don't know. But chat is there. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think it just gets behind.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Alrighty. So, let's see. The 7th, Fraley Field. The short trail to the west leads to Fraley Field, where fighting commenced.
Which is over here, right?
4:55 a.m. Yep.
Here's the
Pickets
trail.
engaged a patrol from Colonel Everett Peabody's brigade. All right. Keep it out there. Let me come around. I want to walk them out there real quick.
Okay, I'll walk behind this way. And I'm going to sit in the AC because I'm not walking out there.
All righty. So if you're familiar with the military concept of pickets, a lot of times what you do, you put your like sentries, like guards out in front of your lines. You know, the early warning system. So, you know, we're coming down from this position. Eventually we'll see where Colonel Peabody's full regiment or brigade was located, back behind us eventually. But he took it on himself to send out one of his units to come out to scout a little bit because he wasn't sure. They were getting lots of reports of possible movements and things you know, going on. So, and they were like being told, oh no, don't worry about it and all that. But you know, his instincts were bugging him about too much going on and not getting blown off by superior officers. So he sent one of the units out and put them into a picket, like a scouting party basically. And they went beyond their normal picket line to come out here to look to see about 250 men, I believe, is what they said. So this is really where the action began out here on the day of April 6th. So you see again, lots of trees. Hey, we got 7 watching. Hey, thank you for joining too. Make sure you hit that like button. Thank y'all for being here. And then we can look at this Fraley Field. Now remember, the fields are named after the farmers. You had farmland out here. So the fields took the name. Ooh, frog. Wow. Hi, frog. Sorry, it was just a delay. I mean, it was just like too cool to ignore that. Oh, wow. All right. And Peabody's Brigade Apprentices Division, the 25th Missouri Infantry, was sent out here. Companies B, E, and H of the regiment were in a reconnoitering party that were engaged here from 4:55 a.m. to 6 a.m. on the 6th of April. then fell back to C field, which is to our left a little bit. So you see they advanced about halfway down the road, began some engagement. 3 Confederates on horseback started early warning shots, minor engagement here. Eventually the Unions pull back. Okay. Oh, the placard. Okay. I don't think you mean this placard, this one. Well, this is the unit here. All right. Is that the one you were talking about, Mrs.? Or are you talking about the actual battle map one? So basically, like it says up here, come back up here. If you can see it, hopefully the glare is not too bad. Okay, so we're here. We're on the edge of the growth there. So let's see. Skirmish up here. Johnson's army's here. Starts to attack at 6. So then Powell's men, who was the commander of the detachment, begins his pullback back to the Union lines, being severely outnumbered. And again, like we said earlier, 5 to 6 a.m. on April 6th. So you can see where it started, and then it comes back into this direction. So, alrighty, Fraley's Field, folks. Got the action started. Then it moved up towards Ray's Field to our, I think it's to our left. It's really hard not to get turned around in this place because the roads are winding and something feels like it's to your left, but it's not. Oh, I saw the Blair Witch comment. Oh my gosh, wow. I didn't think so, just showing a frog today. But, you know, thank y'all for 7 of y'all still hanging out with us. Thank you. Hopefully you enjoy this tour. Really one of the best battlefields you can find. The Vicksburg was nice, but Vicksburg has also kind of been overrun with so much of the city around it. The change of the Mississippi River was what really made one of the forts on the bluffs, you know, lose its luster because, you know, Mississippi does not run there anymore. But Perryville in Kentucky is a hell of a battlefield to go look at. It's not as well developed in terms of the sign placards, I think, as this park is. But if you want open land, rolling hills of Kentucky, it's definitely a park you want to hit. Believe it or not, there are quite a few battlefields in Kentucky that I never thought about, never knew they were there till we went up to Kentucky one year. Also, it's the first action of where eventually the Rock of Chickamauga, General George Thomas won one of the earliest battles in the war at Mill Springs. Oh, we are definitely not in the mountains anymore. So as more signs show you, let's see, there's Hardcastle's picket post in front of Hardee's line, about a corner, 2 fields, a quarter mile west of us. So you get a lot of things like this. Oh man, General Grant tell you get to Shiloh. Yeah, Snortopupus. I think this is one you'd really love to get to. And this talks about Major Powell's reconnoitering party advanced from here 80 yards to the direction I just showed you and attacked the pickets on April 6th. Yeah, George H. Thomas, I think George Thomas, yeah, he was truly an unappreciated general, I think, in the long term. He got passed by many, many people, but he was really effective. The Rock of Chickamauga, many other battles where, you know, he really helped them the time it took. Truly an unappreciated general, I think. Showed great leadership.
And for anybody who's watching, that is our AC belt. It is nothing,
yes,
like really, you know, we'll be uncomfortable if
we don't have a serpentine belt.
If it slips, it'll be.
But the thing is, we don't have a single serpentine belt. It's a separate. The difference is if it's one belt, it could stop the car.
Yeah.
But it's a separate AC belt, so if it goes, we just won't have air.
It'll just be hot.
Yeah, and that's why it is different. You know,
Yeah.
So.
That's why if you hear that it's nothing to worry about.
And we're not in the mountains, so we can't run no air. So.
Reconnoitering road.
Yeah.
A former Virginian, I always appreciate a Virginian who remembered what his oath meant and fought for his country, unlike Bobby Lee.
Yeah. We got 7 people watching this. I keep
Thank you guys for watching.
How'd you like the bullfrog, though, by the way?
I thought it was really neat. It was kind of neat watching it. I turned the volume up and heard you and kind of got to go. Then I don't walk down those paths because, as I said, it's too hot, and I'm lazy.
I saw the Blair Witch comment. What was it about?
It says I think it said his brother went behind him and said, "Are you watching Blair Witch Project?" I said it did sound like Blair Witch.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Hey, get your brother to come in and watch. This is fun, or your dad. Tell your dad at work. Hey, let's have the party. Let's go to the party. So we're at 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern. We got about 3 hours.
I got yelled at when I criticized Lee, which just makes me do it more. Snort a bit.
Exactly, that's what you do. And anything.
Tour stop 8.
Hey, tour stop 8. This particular spot is where the Confederates gained some ground.
We don't really have to.
This is really just more open terrain.
Okay.
It shows more of the map. You know, they're coming from where we saw Friendly Field, from Rayfield. I don't know how much you can get, but basically the Confederate line just keeps advancing.
Yeah. Well, we'll show all this stuff later.
So,
I'm waiting for the Blair Witch Project.
There you go.
Har. You know, I wanted to see a bear when we were up in Yellowstone, but we only saw one very, very far away.
Now, I will say ahead of us in the low ridge in front is where the Benjamin Prentice's men started. They were trying to withhold the Confederate advance, but you know
we might lose signal when it goes down, when we go down these hills.
And we're going to see the camps, because one of the stories was that when the Confederate early advance was so effective, they surprised a lot of the Federals in their camps. And we'll talk more about what lack of discipline, because remember, these were green soldiers mostly on both sides. You know, especially the Confederates, undersupplied, underfed, underclothed.
Oh, no, we have not passed where Johnson was killed yet.
No, not yet.
Not
It's
yet.
coming up. You asked about that.
Snort a poopus.
Okay, no, we will get that. I will walk you down to where I think the spot is. We're advancing towards the line of the Union camps, specifically Colonel Peabody's units up here.
We must go to the right.
Now, okay, I'm going to try to stay here as long as I can before I get run. If you can right between the two trees.
Okay, try to get that monument.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, see the sign of the baseball home plate?
Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
Now the home plate shows where the camp was. I think it's 25th Missouri. But behind it, you see the markers. That's with the star. This is where Peabody's the brigade's camp was located. Brigade headquarters is here. You'll see the cannon upright. Well, Colonel Peabody was mortally wounded by a headshot trying to rally his men in his camp. So you saw a lot of that happen. The early stages really became a rout with Union troops still at breakfast, waiting, sleeping bags and everything. The Confederate timing was perfect to keep them off balance and really run through. But what we hear later, and really I think this was one of the spots when Albert Sidney Johnston was here, with his men. He was trying to rally on to quit looting. We don't do that, but he took a tin cup too to say that just be all he takes, because he didn't want to be too hard on his men. But then again, the troops are green on both sides, and especially if you're underfed, underclothed, and you see stuff right there, half cooked, cooked breakfast.
Well, yes.
You know, what are you going to do?
Oh, I was going to tell you, Puck Quartz was here, and he told Snort Poopas that the Bear Witch project might be a project for him to create for YouTube. And Snort Poopas says Prentice was a stubborn son of a buck.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He did not. We'll talk about it a little bit more when we get up to the hornet's nest, but absolutely he was. But he was ordered. They were ordered to defend the position at all hazard. You know, or we say nowadays at all costs. But and as you look on the left, there's another home. I just call it home plate. Basically, this is
Battle
the area
marker.
where the Union camps were the morning of the 6th. So. And imagine to the right, the Confederates are coming here to the left.
So. Sorry for the wiggly guys. So what stop are we going to next?
That was 9, the invasion of the Union camps. Like as I mentioned, like Snort Poopas said, Prentice was a stubborn guy. You know, the soldiers defended the camps briefly before retreating north at 9 a.m. And as I mentioned, Johnston's offensive stalled when his troops started plundering the camp. We are now headed to Hornet's Nest.
Okay.
We are going to take this road until we come up to the Hornet's Nest. Alrighty. So again, we had to watch for wildlife, and here we saw. That was cool seeing a frog. Leads me to a story that, because we talked about the deer also earlier. Shelby Foote said, recounted a Southern soldier that before one big battle, you know, saw a hare out in the woods, and the hare just took off running, and the soldier said something to the effect of, "Yeah, old hare, I'm scared too, and I'd be running too if I were you."
Yep.
You know, so it's a lot of wildlife around in these things. So now we're coming up. Now we will be, if I recall this right, we just saw some markers for Confederate artillery. We should be looking at the.
Whoops, sorry guys.
We should be looking. If you look in the middle there, that is the Hornet's Nest. That's what becomes the Hornet's Nest. To the
that green?
Yep. To the further left, we'll see it down the sunken road is where Wallace was. WHL or Wallace was. Hurlbut is over on this side by the road here. In position.
Well, both that says sorry, working on cutting care, and it's okay. That's fine. Thanks for hanging. Yeah, absolutely.
So you gotta do what you gotta do. So
we're still gonna go straight.
Okay. Then I made a mistake with that one. No, I didn't. We didn't get to tour stop 10. That's ahead. So, but take what I said, and that's what will be at tour stop 10.
A little bit.
Yeah. So, but hey, the ground looked familiar.
It all looks familiar. It all looks the same. We could probably take one picture of a field of 3 different things and use it for every battle. It gets very confusing.
Yeah, okay, that was the intersection we need to go through. Alright. But this is part of gaining the ground. You know, as we're advancing, the Confederates are advancing through here, pushing.
Oh, Snort Poopas says he's visiting the Poodle Parlor tomorrow for a grooming. Well, we must be well groomed.
Exactly. Now look at these. Right. the right here are some of the Confederate markers where they were attacking the hornet's nest. Did I get out of line? Oh,
Line number 10. It depends on its test.
that's what it says. Okay. The monument threw me, yeah. Okay, you remember those back, that line? That was the hornet's nest to our left with all the tickets that are here. Those units, a couple of those units to the right, the Confederate units were knocked back, heavy loss here. So, just kidding us.
That's okay. That's the entrance to where the hornets
Yeah, no,
nest
I
is.
was right with what I said earlier.
Oh, okay.
On that side, that was where the Confederate artillery were. This, let's see, I'm going to get out for a second. I'm going to take this too.
Okay.
All right. Oh. And, you know, so many of these Civil War battles had sunken roads. It's kind of crazy to see. All right, we've got, let's see. You know, this is part of the hornet's nest in here. Specifically right here, we got the marker. Oh, sorry guys. Center of the Union line at the hornet's nest. You see the, go a little wider. On this particular, the center of the line is from here into here, which is where Prentice was. Down the sunken road to the far side. Yes, it did. I'm thinking especially of Antietam. Exactly. If you, sorry, that's gravel. Okay, if you look beyond that second marker, sorry, the ground's uneven here. Sorry, folks. At the far end of the wooden rails, that's where we were earlier, where the road was. There's an Iowa monument. That's the side. That was the right flank where W.H.L. Lawrence was in charge. Prentice had the center in the hornet's nest. And by the way, there's a monument to Minnesota artillery that was stationed in this position. And Hurlburt would be on the left wing here in this this area of the hornet's nest. So you can tell the thick terrain really helped on a defensive standpoint, but they said that the firing was so intense with the trees breaking and everything going on. That's how it got its name, the hornet's nest. It sounded like a bunch of hornets. So, and this is the continuation of the sunken road to this side. We saw Wallace's position, Prentice's in the center. We saw Ruggles Battery. Remember Ruggles Battery based on the other side, and see Hurlburt would be to the left. Let me do this real quick, give you perspective. Okay, remember Ruggles Battery earlier? 53 pieces of artillery. They were put together to mass fire to break up the Union defense. Well, we know Hurlburt's wing here collapsed. Wallace's flank wing collapsed, so that leaves Prentice in the center hanging. Yep, zip, zip, go the bullets. So Prentice ended up losing both flanks being supported, which means he goes to get the Confederates moved to surround him. But he's got this terrain to help hold out. And as Snorta Pupus rightly said earlier, he was a stubborn son of a gungy. Now, let's look across the field there. I'm not sure. Yes, there's a monument that's there You might be able to make out some of the artillery pieces. That was the position of Ruggles battery, 53 cannon, 11 batteries that were shelling the hell out of the center and Wallace's position. So what had happened is that Confederate generals understood they were not going to catch this piece of property. The advance had halted, so they brought more artillery in to help knock a hole in the defense and to help keep the advance going. So, but just give you some precision, like I said, look at that. How that's not that far away. You know, smoothbore artillery against infantry could go about 1,000 yards. Rifled artillery could go about 1,700 yards. So accurately. So hey, and that's what's so great with a battlefield like this. You can kind of put perspective onto things. You know, nowadays, modern warfare, you hit people without even seeing them. You can hit them from like thousands of miles. I know, I'm overstating it. Heck, even in World War II, the naval engagements, you could hit people from I guess a mile or two. But now, you know, back then you had to get close to some degree. That close is a relative term. Your artillery could still be out of musket range. You have the advantage. Okay. Yes, a lot of people packed in a very small area trying to kill each other. Absolutely. Sorry, Civil War era pavement again. I hope y'all are enjoying this tour, enjoying it with us. It's actually not too bad today. It's warm, it's humid, but it's not like it was yesterday. Oh my gosh. Where we were yesterday, like to kill us. Hey, gotta stay hydrated, as Aang always says. So, I want to show y'all one more monument real quick. Confederate Monument, CSA. Looks like an Arkansas monument. Infantry units listed: the 1st Arkansas, 15th, 2nd, 6th, 7th. Shows them which corps they're attached to. It's very interesting with how these move my thumb. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's my middle finger. Sorry, I was getting everybody the finger by accident. But bum. All right. Well, hey. Alrighty. So we'll do one more thing real quick, because the hornet's nest was really a key part of this battle. The fact that Prentiss held out for so many hours really slowed the Confederate advance. They moved to surround him instead of advancing forward, and he bought time for them. The finger, well, damn it, finger sighting, yep. So what would we say here? We're here. Another finger, another hand sighting there. Duncanville we were earlier. Wallace, Prentiss, Hurlburt over here. So you can see how this is working. And eventually Wallace pulls back, Hurlburt pulls back. Confederate advance goes to surround Prentiss. So hey, let us move on to stop number 10. So, hey, thank you everybody. Make sure you hit that like button, retweet it out, share it with others, tell people we're here. We're having a fun look at history. Then we're going to hit our ride home.
Well, home, to our next
Alabama. Oh, wait, we got 7 people. Hey, welcome, people. Thank you.
7 people and 8 likes. Thank you guys very much.
And if you're lurking, we love lurkers. Thank you for lurking. We always love when you say hi too, but we understand I lurk a lot.
Here's some feetsies for you. Feetsies. He said feetsies.
Now we should get 100 viewers out of that. So.
Oh no.
All right. So basically, the parts of three federal divisions stubbornly defended this densely wooded area. It became that because of the stinging shot and shell they faced here. All right. So now we will head to Shiloh's casualties, which was oh, sorry.
Woo-hoo! thank you, Snortopoopas.
All right. I think the next is the field hospital, I believe.
I believe it is. I think that it doesn't show a lot, but no. Is this in? No. We got some fields to do.
Oh, I thought
Wilkesville.
11 is casualties.
Is it this Confederate burial?
It could be. It may be.
What number is that? 11?
Oh, excuse me.
11 is Shiloh's casualties.
Big.
Ooh,
Yeah.
sorry. Give me these ones.
I know I did.
Thank you.
Alright, so we're going to advance. We're going.
It's not focusing very well, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
But yeah,
You know, I'm gonna stick it right here.
well, I guess Orleans are not one of the roads. But hey, do it backwards if you want. Alrighty.
And you know what? I unplugged this. We need to plug this back in, or we're gonna.
We'll do it next. Okay, so we're gonna turn right here.
Whoops. Passing the Confederate monument again.
Yeah.
Go straight.
This one was a little weird earlier.
Yeah, I'll look.
Alright.
If we follow the signs, we should be okay.
And basically what we're doing is following Confederate advance on day 1 on April 6th. This is moving towards where pushing the Union back towards the Tennessee River. Okay, over there's Hurlburt's command.
Whoops, where's it?
Division commander.
Kind of in the background.
Yeah, and this cannonball stack.
All the stop signs, but neither army ever stopped. They just got plowing along. They just kept plowing along. That's true. Go turn left up.
Okay. We
By
gotta
the
go by that.
monument.
Left at the monument. Okay, yep, I see it. Alright.
Grab and set it down. There we go.
Right.
And we're going to number 11. Number 11 is Shiloh's casualties. And then we've got a couple, 3 fields on. Here's 11. The tour stop is right here. I think it just talks about.
Yeah, this is just a marker about the
Oh, is this the?
casualties. This is the cost of battle.
Is that the one of the mass burials?
There's, I think, 15. There's a number of them in it.
Yeah, there's multiple Confederate burial
Let's
sites.
see here. I'll take it out real quick. The sign is.
Yeah.
Because when Grant had, when the Union took command of the field, Grant had bodies buried quickly. Animals, mules, and horses were burned. Disease and everything like that. So, but basically, there's when they buried them, they just threw the Confederates in a big trench. So it's and if you look at the cost here, you got over 100,000 men engaged at the battle. Now the numbers may look like, but 3,500 people killed and another 17,000 wounded. So you're talking about 24,000 casualties. This is just in one battle, 2-day battle. You have 3 more years of 1862. 3 more years of battles like this constantly. I mean, the death toll was huge. So they're so costly. It's one thing when you have one bloody battle, but when you have a war with multiple battles, that casualty count. It's that's why Lincoln was losing some steam up in the north about the war, and why the election of 1864 was touch and go there for a long time.
I'm going to set this on here for a little bit.
Alrighty, thank you. Alright. I think the next one was, okay, that one 11 was 12.
It's, let's see here. Oops, let me get this plugged in. Sorry, guys. There. 12 is Jones Field, where Union forces rallied at noon on April 6th, mounting a counterattack that briefly checked the Confederate offensive.
Sherman was one of the generals involved in this at that point.
I think. They said kind of like at the end of this road.
Right. Yep, we should go into a big open field.
Whee!
Going down.
Hopefully we don't lose signal.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I love that they did single lane roads because it kind of gave you that confined feeling, like if you were hiking in the woods. If you had a 2-lane, it wouldn't feel that way.
Nope, not at all. Now we come up with Jonesville. Righty. Tour stop number 12.
Well, sorry that the video is bad. We really can't do anything. Just stick with us and hopefully it'll get better.
Basically, we got big open field left and right. Union is in front of us. Sherman's forces coming from ahead. Take up to this position. Then, of course, they're thrown back by the Confederates later in the day. But basically, just another hill here. Of course, this will come into play the next day when the Confederates are pushed back off the same hill. So, alright.
Sorry, guys. There we go.
As you see, markers ahead for day 1. Union positions.
And the next one is Wolf Field. WOOLF Field. At noon on the same day, April 6th, Grant's right wing counterattacked southward 1/2 mile from Jonesville to this area. Severe fighting raged along this front until the depleted Federal ranks retired fighting at 2 p.m. All this information we are giving you is from the Shiloh National Park Service pamphlet that they give out. Brochure, I don't know what you would call it, but anyway, all the information we're getting is from them. So if you have a problem with any of it, it's them, not us.
I've had some problem with some of the MPS stuff at some sites, but
Yeah,
I think this one here they've done a good job.
I think they have to, except for the Peach Orchard and Bloody Pond.
Yeah, which are management. We can talk about that a little bit here. Tour stop 13, Wolf Field. We got another mass Confederate burial grave off to the right. So we can see off to the right there's a placard showing the Confederates coming in right flank, pushing the line back onto itself. And I don't know if you can scan it in more, but there's Sherman's one of the Union
I'll try. That's about all you get.
Yeah, so you can see, again, good graphics, good time. We're talking about later in the day of the 6th. So,
And over where the cannons are pointing, right?
yep.
That's where the boom booms went.
Right.
There's another one of the, well, they say one of 5 known mass Confederate burial graves is down the path a little bit. There was a, what did they say?
There were 9, then there was a typhoon, a hurricane, there was some kind of storm, cyclone.
A cyclone came through and they lost a lot of the records. So even the burial sites that they know, they do not know how many people were in them. They were
lost
original.
the location of 4 of them.
Yes, the originals were marked with wooden plaques, usually. So just out of time, they, disintegrated, degraded. So, and Buddy Hubbard said, I was just reading the Shiloh Pittsburgh landing info from the American Battlefield Trust site while following along with you.
Great
Oh,
site.
awesome! Thank you. That's so cool.
They did great work, great site, great videos. Now, of course, this would be the Confederate advance pushing back to the Tennessee River. So 14 is our next one. Which one?
14 is Waters Oaks Pond, and it says the desperate assault against General P.G.T. Beauregard hurled through this pond on April 7th. I don't see. Oh, I guess the pond is there.
Oh wow!
We didn't see it. It was covered with greenery. But here, let's show. There actually is a pond. Before we thought they were lying.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hard to see, but you kind of see the, right where he's pointing. That's the pond.
Yeah.
It's covered with. It looks like that. What's that? That.
I have no
I don't
clue.
know. Anyway, but there it is.
Or
So
is it there?
No, you're pointing at it.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
You're pointing at right where the yard is mowed.
Yeah.
So that is the pond. Let me get the book so I can read it some more.
Yeah. So basically, this was Beauregard's last stand on day 2. Like we said, everything was kind of backwards and random here, but day 2, Beauregard was in this position trying to stay off the Union advance.
He didn't.
So
He went back to Corinth.
So they had to retreat to Corinth after the day.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Then our next one is Daniel Davis Wheatfield.
All right, Wheatfield. All right. Sortapoopas, sunken roads, and wheat fields must be one in almost every battle site. Heck, Wilson
Or
Creek had a
cornfield.
cornfield. Yeah, cornfield.
It's some kind of field.
Yeah.
Field of plants of something.
So straight, I guess.
It says to go that way.
Okay, we got another.
If you see here another area where someone was mortally wounded.
I think this might be right here. I think.
Yes, turn here. Yes, we've passed here before.
Yeah, it was raised. Yeah. So, of course, you got more monuments, things like that.
I like how the trees curved it. It's very nice.
Just, it's not too much, actually. My window's down, and actually the breeze is kind of cool driving.
It's not bad.
So,
I just didn't want to get a lot of wind into the microphone, which is there.
absolutely.
So I'll suffer with my window shut. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
So we're going to Daniel Davis Wheatfield. And this is where the Confederate forces sieged this area. They seized it on April 6th during assaults against the Hornets' Nest. They stubbornly defended it until April 7th, until Union troops drove them southward after seizing all ground lost the previous day.
Yeah, we have a Pennsylvania monument that was erected in 1902. To our left.
Oops.
So, yeah, really fascinating to see the monuments. One of the spots we got to see the other night at P Ridge, one of the bright spots of our limited time there was Elkhorn, reconstruction or replica of Elkhorn Tavern.
Yes. And the overview.
Overview, yes, that was amazing.
So we're on our way to Daniels Davis's wheat field.
I keep saying that name, and I keep thinking of a politician.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Got the Union markers on the right. The highways on the second.
I bet you would like a book that plots out all the movements, like has maps with it, like a thick old book.
That's why I would buy those atlases and stuff like that.
You've got some neat atlases.
Troop counts.
Yeah.
I can't wait for us to do some pulling together on the artillery, the process of firing artillery, the position numbers, again, the types of shot. One of the radio tour told us, or the audio tour told us about one of the don't remember if it was a Union general rallying his troops. Got shot in the throat canister.
No.
He was dead. Yeah. Getting hit with a canister like that, just.
Oh, and this is something really neat that the MPS has started doing. That you can actually do them, not having the audio tour, but if there's a way you could like get pictures or something, they have audio that you can listen to that tells you about like each one of these tour stops. It's much more extended than the pamphlet that they give out. It's like you have a tour, like they said, you have a tour guide, a ranger right with you telling you the story.
See, I'm trying to get. So this is just part of the view here. Look out for the position. I believe it's wheat field. Okay, this is where you'll be coming now. The Confederates got pushed back by the units of Buell's Army of the Ohio, but you can see how it started at day one. Straight ahead was where the Confederates were. You see that positioning of the battery, artillery down to the right, some infantry. Measure them up and down this line. Then you can see where the Union advanced on day two with the circuit board.
Oops, sorry for the squeaking, guys.
That's the unit of the Army of Ohio, being the yellow that's used here. So now this is, remember, pushing from the river out, back the way that everybody had originally come. I don't know, can you get that? If you're from Missouri. No, sorry. Alrighty.
So the next thing we're going to, which really doesn't show a lot, so we probably could just drive by it as a field hospital. But what they're saying is that here, in one of the first 10 hospitals of the Civil War battlefield, federal surgeons improved patient care and lowered the death rate. They started like in a house. They made it a surgery. They put tents on the outside for patients to be. It's very, very fascinating what they did. I think it's like really the first triage they started doing.
Right. Because up until that point, they were transporting all the wounded out of the area for treatment. So one of the earliest cases for triage.
In the first military hospitals.
Yeah. They still shipped a lot of people out, but in this case, it was one of the Union surgeons.
Yes.
Improvised it. Made them more like field hospitals.
And therefore it did lower the death rate, because a lot of them, they died from infection or bleeding out because they just couldn't get surgery done, get stitches put in or anything.
We'll talk about that bleeding out in just a minute.
Yeah. So this is very innovative. I mean, in all this horrible that happened, I guess something good came of it. Learning how to deal, because Unfortunately, there will always be wars of some kind.
Now you can imagine the Union Confederates on the right here pushing back. Day one being pushed by the Union from the left.
Wounds after the fact is what won or lost wars back then. Yep.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. And yes, this is the field hospital one.
So this is the field hospital. There's no building here. It just kind of talks about it. Yeah, it's some of the innovations and things that are discovered or created or during times of horrible tragedy.
And this is the headquarters of General. Well, I didn't think you were going to do it that
Well, I
way,
have to because you can't see it.
Okay.
There we go.
General Colonel David Stewart.
There it is. And now the next one is
Brigade headquarters, 2nd Brigade.
the next one is for Snorta Poopas. Are we still here? Oh, did I accidentally
No.
stop it?
You're about to share it again.
Whoops. Oh well. We can share again.
Alright, so you should see Stewart again mentioned. So here we go. We're going on.
Snorta Poopas, this one's for you. If you're here still. Number 17. Can we guess what it is?
Straight.
I'm guessing it's straight. If we go the other way, we're going the wrong way.
Okay. Gotcha. Yay.
Know which one's next?
Yeah, he said yeah.
Oh. Yay! So I'm sure Dadman will walk you down there, and I'll monitor the chat and the AC.
I thought it had a marker down there, but there's a red sign that has nothing on it. But listen, command structure, most of your commanders and all had a huge effect on battles of war.
And there
This,
is sure there.
as we
you can show
mentioned,
the see, you can see the monument.
There's
Stop.
a monument.
Stop.
Albert C. Johnson.
Sorry.
Johnson.
There we go.
Exactly.
There we go.
Where he was mortally wounded and actually died on the spot. I think down off to the right is in the ravine is what they said.
Yes.
He was struck by a stray bullet through the kneecap, through the back of the knee, and a Shelby foot recounted that he could have been saved with a tourniquet. But he had no feeling in his leg. He had numbness, so he didn't realize he
was
could tell
bleeding
with
out.
blood in the boot. He said, he was seriously wounded, but they didn't save his life with just a simple tournament.
Well, I don't think they had a lot of medics.
Well, in reading the sign, they did not know where the blood was coming from.
Oh,
Somehow they could not tell how he was bleeding. So they knew he was bleeding. So
Are you going to go down?
I'm going to do that.
Am I in the right? I mean, are we in an okay spot if other people come?
Yeah, we should be fine.
Okay.
So give me the phone. I'll walk over to the show close up of the.
I'll stick it out the window here.
Okay. I'll roll my window up if you want to jack.
That would be
this
great.
for a few minutes. Oh, wait.
And there's a placard about it right there, which I'm sure you can't read it so far away. There you go. Watch your thumbs on the camera.
I know. All right, here we go. Johnston was also known to proclaim to his troops, "Today we must conquer or perish." So while directing an attack that we'll see over on the peach orchard, he was fatally wounded. So, and then Beauregard assumes command. Again, looking at the 2:30 to 2:45 p.m. I saw you said something, Snore Poopas. I'll get back to it when I'm back with the missus. So, and let's see, there was something on here that I saw. I saw it earlier. So. I think it was in the other the other information, but from what I think, it is located down there where there's like a red sign, but it's guessing. But the information said he was wounded down in the ravine, so you can see the terrain again at this place. A lot of up and down and up and down. But let's go look at the monument itself. What is he was the highest ranking officer in either army killed at that point. May have been through the whole war, because you know, different armies had different ranks, and then they changed stuff over time in organizations. But this is the monument to Albert Sidney Johnston. It reads, General Albert Sidney Johnston, CS, commanding the Confederate Army, was mortally wounded here at 2:30 p.m. April 6, 1862. Died in ravine 50 yards southeast at 2:45 p.m. within 15 minutes. So the sun's the west. So yeah, that area, so that's the west. If I'm looking north, I don't know. I'm bad with directions. 2:30. That probably would be the southeast over in that area. So, but yeah, and of course this is the monuments up close here. Looking at these. Oh, here. Alrighty. Well, hey. Let me take you down real quick into the ravine, so you can see see what the land looked like down there. Because if it's not spotted, it'd be close. What were the last two comments or so I can try to talk about them?
Oh, I asked, do you think that he was from a gentleman being in battle, that he did not realize that, as Florida people said, he had died just before the war, and he didn't have any feeling in it.
Yeah, right. And I think even the hill had been shot off in the battle too. So yeah, exactly. So, all right. Hey, we got 6 people watching. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, especially if you're new coming in. Don't fall down and go boom. All right. Well, listen, Snarl Poopers, if I fall, I'm going to make it dramatic and go rolling, all for y'all to have a good laugh. Probably would result in a dead man reveal, but that might be scary. See, this is why I believe that this is the spot, because they have done some work to solidify this as a walkway. And you can see the little drainage ditch there. So hey, you know, and what I've always joked about was kind of like our Fort Henry, is it may have been in that spot, but there's nothing on that red marker. So just think it happened, you know, he died somewhere. Oh, dead man reenacted. Oh, that's hopefully not yet. But yeah, but so you can see some of these areas, you know, still with the terrain. Even if the undergrowth may not have been as thick then, still the up and down the hills, the terrain. And it's a ravine, by the way. Ravines are only one certain way. All right, so that we have now seen the location of the death and memorial of Commanding General Albert Sidney Johnston, who was the commanding general of all forces in the West, which then leads to all the great debates about Beauregard, Bragg, Bell, John Bell Hood, all the others, Joseph E. Johnston, who could actually replace Johnston. They were never able to find one commander that could replace him. But even then, he had to retreat a lot. When you lose Fort Donelson, Fort Henry, when you lose other battles, like of Pea Ridge, you lose in Arkansas and you have to pull back to protect your flanks, to consolidate your forces. Coming up onto what is known as the Peach Orchard. If you're familiar with this battle, it's one of the common things. Most talks about landmarks, and actually it's right in the same area with the second really famous landmark that's here. There's some debate though about what happened here.
Okay.
As you can see,
Okay.
let me turn the car around and let me position it, because see, the Union defense was here. eventually getting pushed back from the Confederates from straight away.
Okay, so I think that's a good shot right there.
There you
Stop.
go. All right.
So the peach orchard. What they say is Sarah Bell's orchard was in full bloom when Confederates attacked Union forces here on April 6th. The Federals eventually retreated to Pittsburgh Landing, but retook the field the next day. The only thing wrong with that is that at that time of year, peach trees are not in full bloom at that time of year here in Tennessee. The reason we know that is that we were here in Tennessee at this exact site, and those are all peach trees.
In April, we were here the first week of April.
Yeah, that was saying when they said this, April 6th, we were here right here, and they were not in bloom. They were not even thinking of blooming.
No.
So
now some debate, I think, with the science depends somewhere in the dividing line. It starts in February, March, but it may be more north of here than what this spot is.
They say it could last longer. So we had that day. We had a contentious park ranger who said that
he was a volunteer. He didn't get the full jobs though.
Yeah, and he was like, it's just a myth. It probably, I think it was in a poem or something, and a poetic license was given.
A lot of romanticism with this war.
But honestly, it doesn't matter. There was a battle here. It was horrific. Whether the cherry blossoms were fluttering over those that were killed or not, it doesn't matter. It was still a bloody battle.
And you can see, because this is where Johnston was taking personal command, because they needed to pull the Confederates. And straight ahead from us here is where the other marker of Johnston's memorial is, where he was mortally wounded. So you can see the distance in relation to this position that was being attacked at the peach orchard.
And he died at the ravine?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. He died in 15 minutes. Blood loss.
Well, yeah. Because it probably hit a major artery.
Yep.
And didn't even realize. He probably would have died anyway.
Yep. Oh, Theme Park Casual came through, I think. Hello, Theme Park Casual.
Hello, Theme Park. Hello.
Hey,
hello.
we're
You missed the face reveal by accident.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the miss is saying. It was be easier to edit the vid now if you cut and restart.
Yeah, we'll finish this.
I think she's saying it'd be easier to edit the video if we cut it now and restart it.
No, I can edit. I got editing software. It will not be a big deal for me to do. We'll just finish this stream and cut it at the end of the stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when we get to the end of the tour, we'll do a drive stream separately.
Yeah.
So, and we'll leave this private until then. Sora Poopa's Army commander was playing battalion commander. Yes, he was. Beauregard did that a number of times too. So, it would be easier blood loss or infection back then.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But we're going to, speaking of blood, we're going to the next spot, which is called Bloody Pond.
Yes.
And there were, even though there's no backing of it, they said that because of the soldiers that went to the field to wipe the blood off of them and the bloody battles.
One little moment of levity. There's the bathroom that the missus said is so nice.
Oh, I went into this bathroom. It was not a vault toilet. It had an actual plumbing in it.
Yeah.
I felt so, it was so funny.
Done something silly once. Why not try?
You're going to try
I'm going to give people an up-close look, especially for people like Bowsette, Sort of Poopas, especially Sort of Poopas with his love of history. This is the real Bloody Pond.
This is Bloody Pond.
No, not that. That's the steering wheel.
Now tell them why it can't be what they say, that it ran red with blood.
Yeah, the rumor has it that it was so many people died here that it ran with blood. Hey, did somebody else come in? I just saw yours. Hi to somebody, Bowsette. I'm out away from the thing. There are fish in here. We just saw something hit over there back in the far part. It's a fine toilet if you're very near Shiloh. It's a Mrs. Dadman recommendation. Awesome. 7 of y'all here. Thanks for being here. Stay with us. Earlier today, we saw in the very back there. Hey, Theme Park Casual. Just another red shirt. Hell, buddy. Thank you. Thanks for hitting the like button. 1 more to 10. Woohoo! Come on, let's go. Back we saw a big fish hitting earlier. So, but it's very brownish water here. Actually, you can see some small fish right here. But the rumor had it that so many came to this, and the battlefield was so red with blood that the pond itself turned red, which scientifically is very hard to believe. But you know, it just is about the romanticism of the time. You know, the poetry. You know how things take on legends of themselves. So, but they did say there was a lot of blood on the ground. A lot of the wounded would crawl to water sources if they were wounded, to either clean or to try to, you know, thirst. So, although, you know, it is a very brown water now, but I guess if you're severely wounded, you don't care what you're drinking at that point. Oh man, we saw a frog earlier, folks. Let me see if I can do this though. We saw a frog earlier, now we got a fish. I don't know, it looks like he's, I don't know. Right, there you go. Okay, he got off there. Bye, Mr. Fish. Let me expand it out. But anyway, that is Bloody Pond, Snortopoopas. This is, I mean, I don't know what I ever thought after knowing about this battle for so many years. It looks kind of small, but this is what was known as Bloody Pond. And right back over there is the peach orchard. So, you know, that's how close the two were together. And the myth with the peach orchard was that so many people were dying or wounded under the blossoms at the time. So, and the myth with the peach orchard was that so many,
You know, I think you handed it to me with my fingers in it.
it probably did. We're doing a lot of things with the fingers today. Alrighty, so.
Well, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Don't,
Oh, no, crap.
No, be careful.
Crap, what did I just do?
We lost our chat monitor.
There we go.
Fish said, "Don't YouTube me, bro." That is awesome. All right, well, let's keep going.
Come here, little fishy, says Snortopoopas. Fish says, "Don't YouTube me, bro." Bows up.
Yeah.
Snortopoopas, major finger reveals. Hey, I don't mind revealing my fingers.
Exactly. So, hey. Well, thanks for being here with our ride to Shiloh National Military Park.
Did you want to run down to Pittsburgh Landing real quick?
Oh, we will. We will.
Yeah.
We'll
Oh, okay.
there.
Well, I thought you were saying goodbye. And
No,
I'm like,
no. I'm
Oh.
just doing a recap for like Red Shirt or anybody else that's come in late, or if anybody's lurking.
Did you see a lot of
late.
frogs spawn in the water? You see a lot of tadpoles or any?
No, actually I
eggs?
didn't. I saw a frog though earlier on the Too Spicy for YouTube. The finger reveal. If you could, shoot. Hold on, let me see if I can do this.
I'll do it.
No. I can do this.
It's
There's
actually-
nobody coming behind me,
Okay.
so I'm you know me and parking.
That man's being crazy.
Stop. That's a Missouri. That's a monument to some of the Union, Missouri units there. And so,
Woo. There we go.
so
That's
actually,
cool.
no, it's actually Army of the, yeah. So you've got Missouri monument. It's a
I'm
true
sorry.
border state.
He was going to read them all, and I rolled my eyes, guys. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's a border state. They fought on both sides.
I was like, "Oh, you're really
Yeah,
going to?"
Kansas. Yeah.
I gave him the. You're really going to read all the states? Look. Sorry, dear.
It's okay. Hey,
Oh.
let's see if we get a 10th like on this video. Let's.
Okay. I will say that the vault toilets, which is basically porta potties, were not bad because everybody closed the lid and none of the snow came into the building that you're in. But
We got a 10th like. Thank you for whoever
Thank
came
you.
in. Thank you.
But that being said, I much prefer plumbing. These weren't horrific. I don't like porta potties. Everything is too close to the surface there. At least the vault toilets, they're down a bit
Yeah.
where you're not having to see other people's business. So,
Gosh. We got 8 people down here. Welcome everybody.
So Bowsette said the
Good
Missouri.
play. Woo! Missouri. Yeah.
Is it still looping? Oh,
No,
wait,
no.
no. Wait, oh, because you know oh, sorry.
Blue water splashback.
Yeah, it just was, I was just, like I say, these weren't as bad as porta potties because, like I say, at least everything was down far enough that you didn't have to see
like
it. But
a cavern. So,
sorry, we got now to porta potties.
We're coming up on the last leg of the tour. But to me, my favorite part of it, there is an Indian burial grounds monument up here, landmark, historic landmark, that we'll be going through. But the next 3 stops really deserve a lot of attention. And if you know the Battle of Pittsburgh Landing, Shiloh, Grant was forced back to the ridge where we started the tour at. Well, in doing that, they placed cannon, artillery there in different positions, waiting for reinforcements, but also timber clads. They're a mixture of iron and timber. The Lexington and the Tyler that came in to also added shot support to the Union defense to stay the lines that night. So we will go there now, and you will see, hopefully, and we may have to take the camera off to help show you, on this left flank of the Union, how terrain played
right here?
No, up in the woods where we go.
We're going to see if we can do it on here.
Exactly. So 12 likes, holy crap.
Well, thank you guys, thank you.
Thanks for everybody.
That's awesome.
We love lurkers. Thank you, lurkers. But, if you can say hi, we love to say, hey, yes.
Awesome.
Good to see you, sir.
Is Bradley the brother? Mm-hmm. So, Bradley, you thought Dadman was doing Blair Witch Project? Yes, we thought so, too.
I just was looking at bullfrog. That was so cool. And like I mentioned, Indian Mounds here too, National Historic Landmark. Stunning.
I'm still the first like though.
Yes, there you are.
All this competition, guys, we don't need it.
I don't know, competition brings numbers. Anyway, I love you guys being here. Thank you for being here, everybody. Make sure you do smash the like button. And if you're lurking, thank you again. And okay,
this is all part of the Indian burial area, I believe.
Yeah.
So
now, one thing I do not know if that predated, and it may have predated the battle, though.
It might have.
So they were fighting over this ground here too.
So they specifically say not to get onto the grass.
Yeah. So we're just going to go through and we're going to look. But these next 3 spots to me are my favorite part of this park.
Snortapoopa said, did General Grant use that toilet? I doubt it. And Bradley Hepburn says, yep, it looked like Blair Witch. It did, and it sounded like it. I agree.
That was the oddest ass movie I think I've ever seen. But it was not bad. Kind of like Cloverfield.
A little bit to your left are some of the mounds. Oh, well, Bowsette's getting a copy of the Mario movie. Right. And it should be coming in on the 13th of June.
All right. Sounds good. That was a great movie.
I enjoyed it.
We're going to be coming up to the Dill Branch Ravine, which will be off on our right, missus. We're going to need to probably angle the camera down a bit.
Yeah, I remember now. Are we doing that now?
Yes, we are going into that.
Okay, well, I need to plug
the window.
I'll probably get a better view. Let me get this. Hopefully I won't drop the phone.
Yeah.
Because if I do, it'll be down the ravine. Speak loudly because there is going to...
Remember earlier we showed and started with the Union artillery, the last line of defense up on the ridge. This was the terrain under that. Very, very bad terrain to operate an offensive movement against. This is the street, but also fire into the Tennessee River right here. You can see how close they could get, how it was. They fired every half hour throughout the night. So,
Snorri Pippa said historical marker General Ulysses S. Grant shot on. I thought you were serious, Snorri Pippa. He goes,
he might have though.
shat, not shot. I'm not thinking he's meaning being shot by a bullet.
Well, he almost got shot at Belmont, but
I don't think that's what he was referring to.
there's a placard and it says, on the 6th day of April 1862, these gunboats, the Lexington and Tyler, were in a position on the east side of the Tennessee River, opposite the mouth of the Deal Branch. They went into action about 5 p.m. and were engaged in repelling the last attack made by the Confederates Sunday evening, and continued to throw shells into supposed camps of the enemy every half hour during the night. So, not only did you have the land-based artillery, you also had fire support from the sea, from the river. Which, folks, if you've ever heard the term with the Anaconda Plan, it's about strangling the Confederacy, like on the open sea blockades as well, the port seas, but also taking controls of the rivers. We talked about yesterday with Corinth about the importance of rails and rivers. Well, the Union Navy that was part of these river defenses and offensives were called the Brown Water Navy, because when you look at this water, it's brown. Okay, rivers are brown, they're ugly. So they're the Brown Water Navy. The vessels out at sea with the Blue Water Navy. So if you ever heard that term, Brown Water Navy, that's where it comes from.
Yep.
Yeah. Need a mic.
I did not know that.
What does Buddy say there?
We don't even have a mic. We'd have to cover the whole camera.
Ah, there you go. Exactly.
Brings new meaning to the phrase fire in the hole.
Oh, man.
Okay.
All right.
So can I just keep it?
Yeah, you can keep it up there. We're going to go ahead and
We got 12 likes, everybody.
Still within us. Microphone. Yes, exactly.
Yes. Well, we need a phone first, and we don't have a
The
microphone.
Great Rush came up with that content. Yeah, practicing safe activities. But yes, folks, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up in a minute. We'll do a drive stream, I think, in a little bit, because we need to do an edit or two on this. And
I can't edit it until we get.
well I know. Well, it'll stay private until then, but we want to go public again. We got a 3.5 hour ride up the road. We'd love to have y'all sit here, talk, tell jokes, and make all kind of comments and all that stuff. So, but hopefully, we will make this public. We will plan to have a show with us eventually. Going through a lot more, and hopefully put this in an organization. Stop 21 again. Here.
Grant's left flank.
This is the left flank attached to the river. Up here, there were 2 batteries, 4 cannon of artillery that were positioned. You see how close it is to the river, where the timber clads were, to provide support, and the terrain off to the left that the Confederates had to travail in order to attack the Union positions.
Sort of people ask where we are headed now. We are headed to Pelham, Alabama, and tomorrow we're going to see the monument to the lady hit by a meteorite, and also the Andersonville and the POW Museum. You want to?
I don't know that I can turn the car right for this one.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody's coming behind.
Okay, we will pull this out.
Well, this is not where we're gonna end, but this is what they have with the placard for Pittsburgh Landing here. So this is a high view from the bluffs where Grant's last line was anchored. But let's go down closer, okay? And you can see Pittsburgh Landing was very
How
important.
can we get closer? I thought we
I
already...
will show you. Don't you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, well, I'll
earlier.
show you. But
Oh, yeah, I do remember.
yeah, but the thing with Pittsburgh
And-
Landing is old Nelson had forces across the river. Troops shipped over in the night. John Carlos Buell's arrived and allowed to get reinforced, by ship.
And what you're seeing right now is the Shiloh National Cemetery. Yeah, I may go swimming now. Here, we'll see some more of.
Oh man! Oh my gosh! Yeah. How about if I went swimming in a bloody pond? But,
Here we go.
But I wouldn't do that. I don't even like taking pictures in front of like casualty memorials and stuff like that, or where people died. I don't mind cannons and things like that, but and here is one last look at the Tennessee River, folks. In this area that's here, the land
These
itself
right there.
is called Pittsburgh Landing.
Yep.
Okay? That's where the Union disembarked troops to reinforce either from crossing of the river or other transports coming down from the north via the river to reinforce Grant's ranks up during the night. And I just realized I want to hold on 1 second before I close it because, all right, you see Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh Landing. The Tennessee River is going. This is that tour road back there, and this are two of my favorite spots in any park. The only other one that compares is Fort Donaldson on the Cumberland River. So, and I'm going to take us up. I want everybody to see this. You have pictures of the main monuments, but not the grass.
The graves.
The graves. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very difficult, and sometimes it's very hard when I walk to the monuments or things like that, especially on battlefields, because you know that
Yeah.
people had died there.
And we're coming up from Pittsburgh Landing again to the right. And I can't, there you can see some right there. So it is a national cemetery, so it is active. So, but if you picture the troops landing down there at Pittsburgh Landing, and remember on to our left was Grant's left flank on April 7th, and we're back to where we started here with the ridge here. Let me see real quick the people that came in late down here. This ridge is where Grant's final line was. You can see some cannon to the left, and straight ahead there's more. But on this ridge, Grant set his defense on the day 6th and the evening of the 6th, and to the left more cannon on the, and then shot support from timberclads in the river. So do we have any more chats before
Yeah,
we
Snortapoopa said it was hard for me to look into the crater at Petersburg knowing how many had died in that hole. Yeah, it's very sobering. Balzat says, I take pics of everything I can because when on trips, someone will eventually, anyways. Plus, they are taken anyways for history books, and you never know, you may catch a ghostly image too. I know, I will take pictures. I just have a problem with, sometimes I feel like I'm desecrating the area by just kind of walking around. Yes, that was the visitor center. We got
10 people watching with us right now. Go ahead and walk it up over there. And yes, back there was the visitor center, and Oh. We've got the Iowa Monument, which we showed earlier. What I wanted to repeat one more time to people is that here, these mean things, the monuments mean things. In this case, it's W.H.L. Wallace's headquarters, where it's positioned. And to the geeks out there and the nerds, when you really get good signs, you get them right here. So, which is the Brigadier General William H.L. Wallace, who was mortally wounded, we saw earlier. List the brigades, the batteries, the companies associated, and in this case, this was with their headquarters. So, hey, alrighty. All right. Well, we always love geeking out and things like that. I'm going to do something real quick as we go out on the ridge. As we saw, this is a more closer view, or more closer, what, English? As we get ready to close down, look here at the Iowa Monument. A little closer. It lists the regiments engaged also. And just so that you can see it up close. Yeah, we want to try to go live again shortly when we get back on the road. Right here. Monument erected by the state of Iowa in commemoration of the loyalty, patriots, and bravery of her sons on this battlefield of Shiloh on the 6th and 7th days of April, AD 1962, fought to perpetuate the sacred union. And on that note, folks, thank y'all for joining us. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for spending the time. Thank you for the likes, sub to the channel. Hope to do more stuff like this, and then shortly in the future, we hope to be able to have another show trying to put things in the chronological order with the terrain that we've seen today. Thank you for coming by. Join us again a little bit later. You guys have helped us kill so many long drives. We won't, at least one more tonight, and I hope y'all can hang out with us a little bit on the road after we take a bit of a break. But hey, thank you everybody for being here, and we hope to see you later. Dadman Walking 55 on YouTube and Twitter. Yeah, Bradley. Yeah. Oh, Sleepy Hollow. Woo. Got to talk to your dad about that sometime. So, yes, bye for now. Hope to see y'all again. Justin in the red shirt. Good to see you too. Bowsette, all of y'all. And I'm cutting, and I'll talk to y'all later. And the missus says bye from here too. Bye, y'all.